Hey, welcome back to the Positive Side Podcast. Glad you're tuning in. The host, obviously, is Jeremy Todd, coming to you from the live from the world headquarters in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Man, glad you're tuning in. I've had a lot of great episodes lately with my buddy Donnie Tuttle on last week. I've got Elise Harger's coming on this week, and I'm telling you what, turn into her episode. She is an absolute rock star. She's coming on Wednesday, as well as my friend Lauren LaFord. Now, she's been on the show as well. I'm excited to get her back on the show. They've been on the show years and years ago. Now, again, we've been doing this for 4 years now. We've got a lot of great guests coming up. Hey, real quick, today's episode, before we get into it, we're going to talk about 6 things mentally strong people do. And this list just stood out to me. I mean, you guys know I love doing lists. I love doing countdowns. These 6 things are super powerful. But real quick, I want to thank the person that gave me that 2-star review on
iTunes,
and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, because what that does when you get criticism, and there was no words or anything like why they didn't like the show, whatever. It's totally cool. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Sometimes when we get criticism, we take it personal, like, oh my gosh, maybe my show does stink and all this other stuff. I mean, maybe it does. I don't know. But when I get a 2-star review, what it tells me to do is I just got to get better, right? I mean, it tells me that people are listening. They took enough time to leave a review and they weren't blown away with it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the constructive criticism. I appreciate the feedback. And it just allows me to get better and better and better. And who knows, maybe it was because I'm not as consistent as I should be doing the show. But neither here nor there, we're back and better than ever today. So mad love to everybody out there leaving those 5-star reviews over at iTunes. If you haven't done it, run over there and check it out. Same thing with the YouTube channel, subscribe there. 6 things mentally strong people do. Get your piece of paper and pen out, because here we go. Number 1, they move on. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. And you know, again, I guess it just goes right back to what I was just talking about. Get a bad review. And you know, hey, I could feel bad for it. I could feel bad for myself. Oh, what was me? Or I can just move on. One of the things that I think separates people, great people, from, you know, the average and the rest of us, is the ability to actually move on. When you have one bad day, you don't drag it into 2 bad days or 3 bad days or a bad week or a bad month or a bad year, whatever the case is. You have the ability to really check that at the door and leave it behind you. Again, they move on. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. We could do that forever, really. I mean, right? We could literally sit in the corner of our room in the darkness and feel bad for ourselves. Because if we focus on the negative, let's be honest, there's probably a lot of negative things going on with our lives. We can focus on those things. But if we add the attitude to gratitude and focus on the things that really make a big difference, you understand that you live in an abundant lifestyle, that there is so much more greatness that is around you that really overwhelms the negativity. But you just got to get past that and quit feeling sorry for yourself. Number 2, they embrace change and they welcome challenges. Again, I mean, pretty self-explanatory. That's why I love this list. They embrace change. Change is inevitable. It's not only inevitable, it's a necessity. You have to have change in your life. I say it all the time. You know, the worst place to be is when on your deathbed thinking to yourself, man, I wish I would have. I wish I would have tried this. I wish I would have done this. That's not me, and I don't want that to be you. We're here to get unstuck in life, and that's so important. Embracing change. Sometimes when I don't have anything changed in my life, a lot of times I just go out and change something. It could be anything. It could be change your hairstyle. It could be, you know, shaving the goatee, a different way to work. You know, trying a different job, applying for something different. I mean, I know I'm talking about some of the bigger things versus some of the smaller things, but sometimes that's what your life needs. You need to kind of shake loose. And when you do that, you understand that all the abundance and all that great life is right outside of your fingertips. And all you got to do is step forward. You got to get out of that comfort zone. You got to get comfortable being comfortable, or you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. It's one of my favorite quotes of all time. I love saying it. But again, number 2, the 6 things that mentally strong people do is they embrace change and they welcome challenges. Number 3, they stay happy. They don't waste energy on things they can't control. We've gone over this in the last few shows, controlling the controllables. What can I control in my own world? You can try and control your mind. You can control your body. You can control your soul. And when you focus on those 3 things, no matter what happens around you, no matter how bad it gets, you can control your mind, you can control your body, and you can control your soul. The mind power, which I believe for this, what really jumps out at me, they stay happy, is no matter what life throws at you, you know, the old cliche, when your life gives you lemons, make lemonade. That's important, obviously, but I think it's important just to have that mindset correct, that I can stay happy. I can be that beacon of light when there is darkness around, when bad things or when shit hits the fan. I want to be that person that people turn to for the calmness, for the guidance, for the happiness. Because again, when you're happy, when you're in a bad mood and you switch that to happiness, man, just that bad mood just all of a sudden just goes away, and it seems like it's a lot easier to stay happy than it is to stay negative. We just got to sometimes flip that switch, and again get back to controlling the controllables. Number four, they are kind, fair, and unafraid to speak up. I love this. I love this. They are, and for multiple reasons, they are kind, fair, and unafraid to speak up. I always tell people this at my job. You always have to speak up, no matter if you're right, wrong, or different. If this is what you feel, and it's coming from a place of happiness or of joy, not a place of anger. Because when we say things out of anger, a lot of times we don't mean that, and that's not really truly who we are. But if you have an opinion of something that may not agree with what everybody else is saying, that's okay. Because again, if your intentions are correct and you're not doing it to upset anybody, but your intentions are to help, build, encourage, you've got to speak up. This is where we get as a society, where we get beat down, where we have these social groups that tell us we're right or we're wrong or this or that. I don't want to be right or wrong. I just want to be the individual that I am, because I know I have greatness within. And I'm going to tell people about what I feel and what I think. And that's why this is so powerful. They are kind, fair, and unafraid to speak up. I try and be kind. I try and be fair, but I'm not afraid. And I'm also not afraid to speak up, because those three, always be kind, be fair. I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, we all know what's fair and what's not fair, right? When we say something that we deep down we know is unfair, we know it's not unfair. We know it's unfair. Um, but again, I mean, when you hold that thought or hold those feelings inside, not only are you hurting yourself, but chances are you're hurting somebody else that may have the exact same thought or feeling that just doesn't have the confidence to stand up for themselves. So again, 6 things that mentally strong people do. They are kind, fair, and unafraid to speak up. Number 5, they are willing to take calculated risk. Now, I've taken a bunch of uncalculated risk in my life, and it's changed me and made me who I am. But as I've gotten older and went through those experiences, I think the calculated risk is one of the most important things you can do in your life. It's not about, but again, it's taking action on those risks. It's not about just sitting on the sidelines saying, I want to do, or, we should do this, or I should try this for a living. We think about it. It may be a risk, but we're not calculating that out. What is the actual risk to that? What are the benefits to it? What happens if I don't do it? What if I don't succeed? What happens if I fail? Those are calculated risk. When you just jump off the cliff with no parachute, sometimes you can get roughed up and beat up a little bit. But I think having calculated risk and actually taking the risk, it's so important. We can analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis. We can sit on the sidelines forever and analyze all these things till the cows come home and never take action. I mean, you've got the calculated part back, but calculated part done right, but you haven't done the risk part. You got to have a calculated risk where you actually take action. And that's when you really start living. You live way more through your failures than you do your successes. And you learn so much more about yourself and where you are in your life. So again, number 5, they're willing to take calculated risk. Number 6, they celebrate other people's success. They don't resent that success. We all need to go to the bank together, don't we? All need to go to the bank together. And it's just so funny when we see people succeed, and we just want to hate on them. We want to not support them. You know what's interesting too? What I love doing, it was like uber successful people. I always like to tell them that I'm proud of them, because when you're on top of the mountain, a lot of times you don't hear that. Uh, it means a lot. I mean, again, it means a lot to everybody when you tell them that you're proud of them. But when you tell uber successful people that you're proud of them as well, and again, it doesn't matter how much higher up they are. It doesn't. I mean, heck, if the president walks in, hey, I'm super proud of you. It doesn't really matter. But when you tell people that you're proud of them, we all go to the bank together. When you're in a basketball game, you see the other side, shaking the other team's hand that won. Good job. That makes a big difference. We are celebrating their wins. I want to see everybody win. I want to see everybody to go to the bank. I want to see all the podcasts win. I want to see other motivational podcasts be successful. I want your podcast to be successful. I want your business to be successful. The happier and more successful we are, the more we learn from it, the more open-minded we are, the better relationships we have, and the more opportunity we have. But we can't hate on anybody just because their path is different, just because they're way more successful doesn't make them a better person or less of a person. It's just their path that they're on. And we all need to accept our path and why we're on this journey. And this is what the hand we're dealt and the decisions that we make. It's okay where you are in your life. It's not okay to hate on someone else as being a lot more successful than you. That's why, again, I love this. I love this list. 6 things mentally success, mentally strong people do. Let me repeat that because I butchered it. 6 things mentally strong people do. Number one, again, they move on. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. Number two, they embrace change. They welcome challenges. Number three, they stay happy. They don't waste energy on things they can't control. Again, going back to control the controllables. Um, Number four, they are kind, fair, and unafraid to speak up. Again, speak up. People need to hear your greatness. Number five, they are willing to take calculated risk. And number six, they celebrate other people's success. They don't resent that success. We all go to the bank together. The Positive Side Podcast, jacked up, fired up. Got some great interviews coming up. If you haven't bought the book, run to Amazon, leave a review in the book. I mean, I've got like 33, 34, 35, something like that reviews in the book, which is awesome. Mad love for the support. I got gear coming out. We got mugs, we got hats, we got all kinds of cool stuff coming. A lot of good stuff coming up with the Positive Side Podcast. I'm just glad you're part of this journey. And hey, if I can do something better, instead of leaving those 2-star reviews, hook a brother up, send me an email, jeremy@jeremytodd.com. Tell me what I can do better, and then leave those 5-star reviews. Again, it just allows other people to find the show. I say it every single episode, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You've got greatness within. Like always, this is the Positive Side.